For you and better times for the physically disabled of British Columbia.
Today's winner, Bill Harris in Duncan.
British Columbia Television.
You got to do everything around here yourself. Answer the phones, put on your own makeup. Not a bad looking fella for his age, you know, and the condition he's in. Hey, new haircut. It's my own hair, too. More than a lot of people around here can say. Perfect. That's better. Makeup done. Notes ready. Coffee. You even got to make your own coffee around here. They don't know how to boil water anyway. I'll tell you that. Here, Mr. Webster, there's your coffee. Hot and fresh. It's cold. Why is the coffee always cold? Take it away, it's cold. You've got to use hot water to make the coffee. You know, steam the kettle, it's got to boil. Ready, camera one? You got to get it up to hide his chins. That's good enough for Webster. Roll VTR 5. VTR 5 rolling. Nothing to it. Puts me to sleep, that fella. He moved. This has been a very different year for Webster, I'll tell you. That was a slight exaggeration. I don't really stand behind camera one or direct the show or go up to VTR and roll it or make my own coffee, although it has been made on one never-to-be-forgotten occasion with cold water. But here we are on what is the last show for this season. And we're going to have a little bit of fun this morning and be a little bit serious, and we want you to join in at the end of the first season, back in September, of The Webster Show. Well, see what they've got on today. Hello, Emma. Hello, Stella. Hello, Hannah. Come on over here, Emma. Got to talk to you. I want my chapatis and hot curry. Have you got it for me today?
No, sorry, we have a chicken and...
We have what?
We have a liver and bacon today.
When can I get my chapatis and my hot curry?
Only Sunday.
Only on Sunday. Stella, how are you today, Stella?
Oh, I'm pretty good, thank you.
Honey, come on over here, honey. Liver and bacon?
Yes, for you, liver and bacon today.
No potato?
Okay, we geef je man potato.
One big potato. One big potato. I'm not going to go on a diet.
What about cabbage?
No, I don't like cabbage. No cabbage. Don't like cabbage. No cabbage. Don't like cabbage. I wanted chapatis and hot curry. Thank you very much, girls. Thank you very much. You got to pay for the food here, you know. They don't give you it for nothing. How are you today, Lakvi?
I'm fine, thank you.
How much you want?
Well, if you want to pay for it by weight, it's about $10.
No. I'll pay for it by menu.
Okay, $1.95.
$1.95.
Yes? So you didn't get your curry and chips?
No, I wanted chapatis and hot rice.
You don't do the accent right. You sound more like a Welshman.
How do you do the accent?
I'm not telling you. Better than yours.
Much better than mine. Dudley, 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 da. Well, I'm going to have my lunch, no chapatis, good liver and bacon. Now I'm going to see the VTR people. Don't know what it means yet, but that's what they call it, VTR. Well, here I are in VTR, the on-air videotape room. And here is Rick Miller. Rick, nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Jack.
Rick is the guy who did the beautiful piece on me based on Forever Young. I don't think I thanked you before. I want to thank you now.
Thanks a lot, Jack.
Must have taken you a long time to do that.
About 30 hours.
30 hours.
That's right.
Made me 50 years younger. I'm back in my teenage again. Now, what is this room? Is this on air or is this recording?
This is the VTR on-air room.
And everything that is running here.
Sorry.
Go on.
All the commercials go on the air from here. All the shows go on the air from here.
The Webster show
That's right.
originates downstairs and goes on air from here.
That's right. Time delayed up here.
Oh, you mean my time delay?
That's right.
My 7 seconds.
That's right.
That's delayed on a machine here. Which machine would that be done on, Rick?
These two machines here.
These two machines here.
Yeah.
I forget your name again.
Andy
Andy.
Jarzabiak.
Andy Jarzabiak. Jarzabiak. You can spell it yourself. What are you doing right now, Andy?
Oh, I'm rolling news cuts to the noon news for air.
That's just to air.
Yeah, that's right.
For
There's Gail Smith.
Gail Smith, yes, yes, in black and white.
Yep.
Normally she's in color.
Well, just color up there.
She's in color up
Yeah.
there.
What are you doing here?
I'm just showing some of the people. You see, I boast about a one-man show.
Oh, well, you are.
Well, not really a one-man show. There must be 50 of you up here. Nice to see you,
Pretty
Rick.
close.
Yeah.
I'm Andy, that's right.
You're Andy. That's Rick Miller. That's Andy. And one more person to talk to. Ma'am,
Yes,
what's your name?
Sharon
Sharon what?
Franks.
I see. How old are you? You don't have to
I'm
answer
not
this
going to
question.
tell you that. How old
You-
are you?
Well, I'm 61, but everybody knows it.
Oh, come on.
What do you do,
You're that old?
What do you do, Sharon?
On-air videotape.
On air videotape.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you and the rest in here have done a terrific job for the old
you.
amateur Webster. Listen, Sharon, where will I find Bob York in graphics? Can I go that way?
Yeah, go out that door and up the hall.
Thanks very much, Sharon. Thanks very much, Andy. Thank you very much, Rick. Very grateful. Gentlemen, everybody, keep pushing the buttons. Push the right buttons, as you always do. Well, here I am in the graphics department. Hi, Bob. Face the camera, we're on television. Thanks very much for the work of you and all your colleagues in this department.
Oh, yes.
Bob did all the graphics that we used on the show, whether they were for special effects or whether they were for instance, the Varhog case. If I wanted something to show you where it is and what it is, Bob and the other people in the department. What are the names?
Ingrid,
Ingrid, where are you, Ingrid? Come on round. And the other one?
Sherry,
Sherry?
and Mark.
Ingrid, Sherry, and Mark. Ingrid, you're Ingrid? Yes. Nice to meet you, Ingrid. You must be Sherry. And here is Mark.
Pleased to meet you, Jack.
Just making a little walk around for our final show of the season and thanking you all very much indeed. Hooray for the graphics department. Yay. Thanks very much. Thank you. I'm away again. I'm away again. Now we're going to see Bea Lindley. She runs the switchboard and she takes a lot of the comments about the Webster show. And sometimes the comments keep her quite busy. Occasionally they give her a laugh. Bea, how are you today?
Really good, thanks.
Any calls after today's show?
Yes, there was one especially about your leaving.
What did it say?
Jack is probably leaving because someone put a contract out on him and he has to lie low for a while.
Maybe there's some truth in that. Anyway, most people who call about the show are quite nice, aren't they?
Most people are quite nice, yes.
And the other people?
They're debatable.
Thanks for all your help anyway, Bea.
Okay.
Much obliged. See you in September.
I hope so.
Oh, for sure. Well, here I am in the heading for and in the video room with Randy. Hello, John. Randy, I still don't know your last name.
Walden.
Randy Walden. What's a V4? Because you're the king of the V4.
King of the V4. Well, V4 is a way of producing electronic graphics. It's kind of like an electronic typewriter.
You mean if I say, I want that quote from that document on the screen, you type it up?
That's right, that's right. Just simple as what you'll be seeing here. As a matter of fact, there's a message for you here that's perhaps you can make head or tail of it.
What the heck is Webster doing in the video room? 10 guesses, one guess as to who programmed that up. Thanks for all the help, Brandon.
Good enough, right? Good enough.
And your spelling's quite good.
It's not bad. Some mornings I come in a rush and it gets a little hectic, but it's okay.
I'm never wrong at spelling. Thanks, Randy.
Thanks, Randy.
What the heck is Webster doing in the video room? Well, I want you to meet a couple of my buddies. I'm not really a one-man show, you know. Come on over here, Rob. Here is, that's John Pettit, Say hello, John.
How you doing, Jack?
And this is Rob Hood.
Hi, Jack.
Tell me, both of you can tell me at the same time if you like, what do you do in the video room, apart from the V4s?
Drink coffee.
What do you do?
I also drink coffee.
What do you do, though, in the video?
Next time you come up.
Cream and sugar. I came in empty-handed. But what do the video room people do?
We reproduce the signal electronically. We control the imagery of a camera that puts you to air.
You mean you can make me look pink or green or give me black and white stripes?
Make you any color you like.
We thought you were pink and green.
Some mornings it's a lot of work.
Can you control the color of my eyes?
Yes.
Make them blue and lovely.
Oh, sure.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Rob.
You're welcome, Jack.
See you in the fall. The people in Master Control are responsible for the final on-air decisions of the output of BCTV. This is Lynn. How'd you do, Lynn?
Fine.
Have we met before?
No, I don't think so.
See, you're hiding up here in Master Control. And Vince,
Hello, Jack.
I think I've seen you in the cafeteria.
Yes, I have. I've seen you, and I've seen you on the air, too.
Oh, in fact, you've got to see me on there. Is that right, Lynn?
Right.
How's it going today in Master Control, Vince?
Oh, things are always fine in Master Control. We're professionals up here.
Right up to the split second.
Oh, yeah. Timing. That's what it is.
Fully organized. Lynn, thanks very much, Lynn, and
You're
we'll see you in the fall.
Okay.
Thanks, Lynn. Thanks, Vince.
Thank you, Jack.
Much obliged. Ta-ta to Master Control. The first walkabout I did on the show, on the opening show, was, of course, a walkabout down at Robson Square. That was a little walkabout after we finished the program yesterday, so that you could see some of the people, and there were squads of them, who do all the finely honed technical stuff behind Webster, who's more than just a pretty face on television. Now, what are we going to do this morning? We're going to do some light stuff. We're going to call in Brian. I'm going to try and get his name right. He'll try and get my name right. And who knows what's going to happen. We're going to take some calls this morning. No schmaltz, no stuff. We'll talk maybe a little bit seriously, but not just yet. After this. Let me make myself perfectly clear, as somebody once said. This is the last Webster show for the season. We shall be back in September, and Linda will give me the precise date in case I get it wrong. The 10th of September, for a full and complete season next year. Let me tell you, when I started this program last October, I wasn't exactly terribly confident. I thought, well, Webster, you've done a lot of television, but it's the first time you've been in television. And you can see for yourself how I've learned to operate cameras, floor direct, produce, time, and, you know, it's really quite simple. If other people know what they're doing, it's really quite simple. Anyway, when I was talking to B. Lindley upstairs, this morning I got the copy of the telephone log, and I want just to make this point perfectly clear. Let's see these scans underneath the picture just now to see what people were phoning about yesterday. Congratulations on the good sense of letting Jack Webster go. Don't tell me you've let Jack Webster get away from you. He is the best you've got on these days. That's a very sensible person. I am glad Jack Webster is leaving. Maybe now we can have yoga back. I could do yoga for you. Jack is probably leaving, B told us this, because someone put a contract out on him and he has to lie low for a while. Any more? Do you have an exact date as to when Webster show will be back? Can't you have reruns till then? And dearly beloved caller, you'd be sick and tired of reruns. Goodness gracious me, we've given you enough. The precise date on which we shall be back is September the 10th, 1979. What's next? Oh, Brian! 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 Come on in, Brian. Brian has been... Good morning, Mr. Coxford. How are you this morning, Mr. Coxford? So nice to meet you again.
You got it right this time.
Yeah, you seem to be out of town most of the time when I'm looking for you, but you've done a terrific job this year.
You've learned how to operate the camera. I've learned how to put a microphone on.
That's right. And, I must say you're looking very spiffy this morning. Excellent, too, must say. I always look spiffy, except in certain mornings. Now, what did you have best fun at this year? You've done some real heavy stuff, which we may or may not have a look at, you know. But you had some really good fun this year in a few programs. Which ones would you like to show us a clip of?
Yeah, I suppose one of the most hysterical kind of things, and in a fun sort of way.
Are you smoking?
That must be...
Somebody's smoking here. Fred, you left your cigarette there.
Fred's cigarette, yeah.
Go on.
In a fun sort of way, but a serious vein for them was up in Campbell River when we went up and...
This is a battle won by Coxford, the barbless hooks. And after his presentation of the situation, the Federal Fisheries Department backed away, did they not?
They did, just before the election.
They come here from all parts of the world in the hope of catching the big ones, a tai, 30 pounds or more. And some of those sport fishing visitors have dreams of taking home their catch, a trophy, perhaps pinned to a plaque. But most of the sports fishermen are fishing for the love of it, and at the same time hope to put some extra food on the table. But what could stand in the way of it all is the kind of hook used to haul in the big one. The traditional everyday hook used around the world is the one on the left. It's the type with a sharp barb at the end of the hook, designed to hold the fish on the line. But what the fisheries wants is a barbless hook.
I have doubts whether it's looking at it from a proposal point of view. But I honestly feel, without overreacting, that we're going to lose a $27 million industry.
I would compare it to hunting with a pop gun, for example. You're allowed to go fishing, but you really, the means of controlling your bait and having any chance of fighting the fish in the fast water would be taken away from you.
What's going to happen if this regulation comes in? What are you going to have to do with all these hooks with barbs on them?
Well, we're going to have to start tearing down packages and...
Literally opening them one by one?
Open them all up. They're going to look like used right off the bat. Pull out the hook. Probably break the barb off like that if we can get it. If they would accept that, it might have to be, probably will have to be filed down, which is going to take about a couple minutes to hook. It's just impossible. There's no way that we can go through with this.
Good example of on-the-spot reporting, which seemed to get a reaction from the federal government, didn't it?
Yeah, it was just about 3 weeks ago or so. The deputy minister said it was a stupid idea, and they put it aside in time for the election. Didn't do him any good anyway.
He had a lot of good out-of-town stories, but perhaps the one that I enjoyed most, on a kind of semi-serious side, was the time you went to the Crowbar Hilton.
The Crowbar Hilton would be William Head Prison. They were just between Souk and Victoria, and beautiful piece of property. And that's for the sort of offenders that aren't really too dangerous.
Yeah. You going to see a bit of it?
Had a bit of fun there, and there's a guy there they call the Birdman of...
the Birdman of the Crowbar Hilton.
Of the Crowbar Hilton.
The Birdman of William Head.
Frank Schlosser.
Frank, yeah, he came off very well indeed. In fact, he did some good stuff, and this is one of the ones I enjoyed most. The Birdman of William Head.
All the cells inside this prison are well painted and they're clean. The food line ain't too bad and the keeper ain't too mean. There's lots of trees and lots of grass.
This is prison, but you have to look twice to reassure yourself. Instead of bars, there's comforts. Instead of gray walls, there's an ocean view. Instead of mailbags and license plates, there's a library and a pitch-and-putt golf course. This is William Head Prison, home of the not-so-dangerous inmates, such as a former airline pilot in on a drug conviction.
And this is as rewarding, I would say, as flying. So I'm very lucky in that respect.
And this is Frank Schlosser, the Birdman of William Head, a prison inmate for 35 years. Frank built the golf course here. Frank feeds the birds.
And although he's in for taking other people's money, Frank would prefer you regard him not as a thief, just a money separator.
You hope to get out someday, or?
Geez, I hope so. I'm having trouble with the parole people. I go before the board next September again.
What are you in for?
Actually, I'm in. My convictions and my offenses have been theft, and in 1963 I was declared a habitual criminal, and the primary offense was possession of a stolen driver's license.
Frank escaped once, got a pass, and stayed out for 3 months. All the birds he cares for left, except by some instinct similar to the Capistrano motivation, they all came back 3 months later, and 2 days before police found Frank in Vancouver and brought him back to William Head to feed the birds.
Incredible about the birds coming back. It's amazing how a feature like yours there changes one's attitude towards the individuals in the prison, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure, a human side to him.
Frank should be out in September?
Well, he's going to take another crack at the parole board in September. Whether it does any good, have to wait and see.
Yeah, he was one of those who was wiped up in the old habitual criminal business. Listen, on the more serious side, I think one of the most devastating pieces you did was the one on the drunk tank. Remember you went down to the drunk tank?
Yeah, we spent 2 nights there. First of all, there was a quiet night, and then there was a busier night. We sort of combined the two.
Just a short clip of it this morning?
A short.
This is a hotel. That's the name given this place by the chronic alcoholics who frequent Vancouver's Skid Road. It's actually the 5th floor drunk tank of the city jail. It's early in the evening, and so far there's only one guest. But already 2 floors down at the booking desk, other guests are signing in.
What are your medical problems? Yeah? Yeah? Are you on any medication right now?
There's nothing I think that we can do. We just keep them low enough so that they can probably cross the street on their own. And what the city really needs is a center where they can be taken and dried out for 2 or 3 days, so that they can face the streets again.
Come on, that's the boy.
I'm not drunk.
I know that. I could tell. I could tell right away.
I'm not drunk.
I could tell that right away. Come on. Oh, you're being drunk. Right down here.
What am I in here?
Well, you're in here for drunk.
Well, I'm not drunk.
Well, it must be a mistake.
The guest list, in addition to Henry, looks very much the same night after night. A practicing dentist is signed in here, as have war veterans and war heroes. And Friday night's guest list even included the cousin of a judge. All have the same problem, overtaken by booze.
Sit down. Yeah, just sit down for a few minutes, okay? That's the stuff. Come on.
I know it.
That's the boy.
Nobody should be in.
Now, you haven't got so far to fall, okay?
Some of your regular Skid Row type alcoholic will come in. He's defecated himself. He's wet from the waist down with urine. He's covered from the head down in head lice, body lice. Some of them have injuries that are septic and gangrenous, and generally just a mess. And if they can't get in,
that was a grim one, you know. I'd forgotten how grim that was.
Yeah, there was a few very depressing things.
I was going to make a joke just now, and then I realized I couldn't. When you said even the cousin of a judge, I was going to say, lucky you didn't get a judge in there, but it's not a joking matter. Have they improved the place at all? You've been back since?
Well, they've put a little, cleaned it up, painted it up, but that's just a stopgap measure. Detox center, hopefully by January 1st.
Sure glad you're here to do these kind of jobs. I'm getting too old for them, I'll tell you. Anyway, it's been a terrific year, and I promise never to call you Brian Coxcove again.
I bet you can't live up to that promise.
It's a funny thing, every now and then get you, like that, on the network the other night, there was a fellow who came on the network. You didn't see it during the election coverage. I could have killed him. It just went east on the network, and he said, and now, his first name is Lloyd, and now he said, we're going to man from BC TV, Jack Ferguson. So I went on and said, thank you very much, Lloyd Mackenzie. And then I finished up by saying, and thanks again, Lloyd Stewart. My ego was just a little bit pricked, if you might say. Anywho, been a great year. The only trouble is you're beginning to sound like me. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you, Jack Webb.
Jack Webb!
It's been NDP for the last 2 times. Prior to that, Lorne Nicholson, the present sitting MLA. Are we in this or what? Close up, toothpaste, take 2. You have the fewest number of staff members in this hospital of any of the have provinces across the country. Pardon me, stop again. This hospital. It's been NDP for the last 2 times. Prior to that, Lorne Nicholson, the present sitting MLA. Number 4. Okay. Okay. Number 4. Thanks for being so patient, Nick.
That was one of the things that Brian was going through just before the break there that I found and still find very difficult. You go out with one camera to do a television news show, or a clip, or an insert, or whatever you're doing. And of course, one camera only takes one head at one time. And they'll nag people like myself to do what they call re-asks. In other words, here am I. Give me a shot over the shoulder from Brian. Over my shoulder to Brian. You see, I'm sitting interviewing the Prime Minister of Singapore. Well, Mr. Prime Minister of Singapore, how are things in your beautiful, lovely land? How are they? Say something if it's only goodbye. Anyway, you see his responses, and then later on the camera's got to come around here, and I say to my guest, Mr. Prime Minister, would you just sit there, please, and nod your head and move as if you're talking, while I say, what was that question asked? And I can't remember the question. Yeah, okay. Tell me, Mr. Prime Minister, this is the second time we've done it. He stopped talking. I'm doing the re-ask, you see? And then the editors fit it all together. It's a pain in the neck, but it's got to be done. You know, and when you see the finished product, I don't think you know that that question has been inserted again after the initial thing was done. I want to take a minute to be serious. Well, not that serious. But as we leave on this, the last show for this season, there are a few unanswered things which we shall be jumping on again in September. I'll keep an eye on what's happening in the federal government as much as I can while I'm on holiday, because you can't really switch off in this business. If you switched off for 3 months, you'd come back and think you just arrived on the planet Mars. And so we should be fairly well briefed for what's happened in the federal government, if Joe Clark has made major moves in the meantime. And then, of course, in June, we're going to have a session of the legislature, and we'll keep an eye on that, because I have a few, what I think, pet projects in the public interest for which we must get responses. As you know, I fought not quite a losing battle, but a very stiff battle against the Attorney General's Department of British Columbia. Not just on the Varhog case, but on other issues as well, you know. And I heard a news report yesterday which really set my teeth on edge. They're going to continue with their crackdown on drinking drivers. They're going to continue with their Batmobiles. They're going to continue with new and tougher suspensions for drinking drivers. But what they ignore in Victoria, they choose not to look at whatsoever, is that it's as simple as pie to catch people in roadblocks, and so they should. But what they choose to ignore, and I got another well-documented case yesterday, that where people slaughter others on the highway, the system falls down totally and absolutely. It's all very well to catch whoever it is in the roadblock and throw the book at him. But it's still going on in this province that you can slaughter someone on the highway, knock them 15, 20, 50 feet, and they'll suddenly say, oh, we can't lay a charge. I'm talking about the prosecutorial system. We can't lay a charge because we won't get a conviction. And there's one message I want to leave with Mr. Vogel, the Deputy Attorney General, because there's no point in addressing it to Mr. Gardam. I don't think, anyway. Perhaps Bennett will switch his cabinet. It is that where people are killed on the highway by those who have been drinking, especially by those who have been drinking, let a jury decide, let a judge decide if there is a case for negligence causing death, if there is a case for some kind of culpable homicide. Because as it is now, I strongly suspect that these massive amounts of lawyers appointed to regional Crown sit around and convince themselves they can't get convictions. Give the public and the judges more credit for common sense. Because all your money in Batmobiles is poured down the drain, all your money in education is poured down the drain, if you don't show the offenders that if they do it on the highway, they will suffer. That, oh, and just by the way, you know we got a slight partial success in the Varhog case. Very slight. Different kind of review. And the Attorney General's Department knows perfectly well that we'll be on their backs again in September on the Ray case. That was, I'm sure you remember that particular case. I have no intention of going into this morning. The difficulty about doing television, 90 minutes a day in the morning, is that you can't do a 60-minute type show every day. It takes a long time to prepare a 60-minute type show. But what we try and do in the Webster show, and I think Brian will agree with me, and he's contributed a lot to a large part of it, is we try and give you semi-documentaries on institutions, on places, even in buildings, back to the Robson Square experiment at the very beginning. We try and follow current news and current politics, and we'll be even better at it come September the 10th. Let's go to break. It's kind of pleasant not to have any guests. In other words, I don't have to be too bright this morning, just be my normal self. But I'm going to take phone calls now. But I've got some letters programmed. They've been kicking around for a long while now. And Randy upstairs programs them on that V4 machine, which is an incredible device. Let's run a couple of letters while the phones are building up, eh? Just for fun. Let's see what they say. And they're not all praiseworthy. We don't run the praiseworthy letters. We're too modest to do that. Stretch? Stretch? Is Michelle awake this morning?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Here it comes.
And Bob's on the go too?
Bob's awake, yeah.
That's why. Peachline, dear sir, we often watch your show. Very often you use the phrase snide remark. As a reporter, why is it necessary to use a different tone of voice and make a grimace? When you smile, your whole face lights up. Please try to be impartial. At the present time, you are not.
Beautiful.
Next letter. Is it a rolling V4 this morning? Is it still rolling?
Yes, they're rolling.
Oh, this is a serious one. Didn't mean this to come up. The doctors and nurses are not given enough credit for the work they do on the intensive care nursery at VGH. Our son was born there a month ago. He weighed 2 pounds. The doctors did all they could and were terrific in their efforts to keep our son alive. But he died 3 days after he was born. We are grateful for the time we had with him. I hope more people are now aware of the fine work these people do. Donna, thank you very much. That was Brian who did that story. It was one of his excellent reports, really first class. We'll do more of that too. People must be given credit. Victoria, your program is excellent and always interesting, but alas, also frustrating, as I can only catch glimpses in the morning. Could you not arrange to have it shown during the evening hours? You would have a very wide audience. Failing that, perhaps the Best of Webster could be shown 1 or 2 evenings a week. Normally, we schedule the Best of Webster Saturdays and Sundays, except for Sundays normally. Sometimes we sneak a little bit into the Saturday night newscast with Pamela, who's been very helpful and good to us. You, I see, get all kinds of these letters. You finally discovered a situation that made me barley mad for years. As a payroll clerk, I've handled these cases, and the employee could always afford a trip to the old country for a period of 6 weeks to 2 months. I had one character who wanted a separation slip as though terminating, so I fixed him. I wrote on that slip, "This employee is on leave of absence for a holiday overseas." It was obvious he wanted somebody to collect unemployment insurance while he was away. And on. Enough letters, no more. Enough letters. You would need a staff of 100 to follow in detail every individual complaint that comes. We try to answer mail, and we try to follow news stories presented to us. In fact, our whole interest in the, remember the stuff we did on the rest homes and with Isabel Kimmett? That whole interest was prompted by letters from the public. I got an awfully bad time from some very sincere people in Victoria. And they were right. I muffed an interview I had with, is it Dan or Don? Dan MacDonald, Minister of Veteran Affairs, defeated in the recent election. I wasn't properly briefed. I hadn't realized he was in charge of some of these chronic cares for the elderly disabled vets. And I apologized to the people, especially in Victoria, for not handling that interview properly, and for that matter, not having the time to do a complete study on that particular problem in Victoria. We did have a little look at it in Vancouver, but not in Victoria. Linda, telephones? Good morning.
Good man, Jack. Congratulations. Well, I know. But listen, what I want to know is, can you tell me who your favorite guests were? You know, the type of people who could probably carry...
Yes. My favorite guest.
Just a minute now. Also, keep after that guard him, but I wouldn't go after him, go after Bennett, because ultimately he's responsible.
Here. Nova, I think, was my all-time favorite guest of the year. The delightful girl now working for the GVRD, the girl with cerebral palsy, who fought her way out of that psychological barrier. I mean, the other people have against Nova. Magnificent girl. My other favorite guest, of course, who embarrassed me to death, was Shirley MacLaine.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was just a riot, absolute riot. As far as, I can't think of any other favorite guests.
Well, maybe...
Oh, the British High Commissioner John Ford, the Bishop of Salisbury, who was very jolly indeed. Peter Zowski, when we pulled his leg, that we were doing, he did 90 minutes live and we did 90 minutes really live. Oh, a lot of good fun. But you go through guests, you know, like an Italian restaurant goes through pasta. You know, you can't remember today what you did yesterday. Anyway, thanks a lot.
Okay.
Bye. Yes.
Hello, Jack. Just thanking you for, like everything else, everyone else will be thanking you for the same things. I appreciate the things you've done and things you've said, and your, political expertise and your political members coming on camera have helped a lot in the light of the newspaper strike.
Yeah, I think maybe it did.
And I appreciate your ratings. I appreciate the things you go into and the depth of your concern for the garbage can incident, etc. I lost my wife in a similar thing, and the young lady got off on a technicality. I think about this radar and all the implications from the south, which will come up here and which will reduce the police possibility of getting convictions. I like your walk around and because an aircraft is only as good as its crew. I like everything about your program, and you're just irascible enough to be interesting. And I like you with Davy Barrett. And
I'll talk about that later, by the way, because you mentioned crew. Freddie, get off that headset and get in here, will you?
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, sure.
Where's the microphone for Freddie? No microphone for Freddie.
Hello, Jack.
This is Fred Hatt. Fred Hatt is the floor director on the Webster show, and Fred Hatt is the linchpin who keeps things together, keeps me in order, makes me hide my cigarettes when I'm illegally smoking during a commercial
You don't smoke, Jack. You've never smoked at all. I've never known you to smoke.
That's loyalty to the nth degree, Fred. But I want to say thank you. Go on.
1 minute. We've got 1 minute.
Can't you stop making signs? Can't you? Tell me, when you go home for dinner at night, do you say to your wife, 5 minutes to the table? 5.
It's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Eat.
Freddie and I have something in common. We're both old sweats.
Yes, certainly.
And some morning here, we both sweat, don't we?
Very old.
Yeah, but there's a common bond between our generation, because we are survivors, and we're not the soft, affluent youngster of today.
We're certainly not, Jack. We are the new generation. That's us.
Our only trouble is that we're jealous.
30 seconds.
50 to go, Fred. Let me do that. 50.
30.
Give me
You
the head.
try,
Give me
sir.
give me it. I'll show you. Okay. Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. How much?
Yes, Jack, I only have one picayune request to make.
Uh-huh.
When I hear some of these very serious things you do, and which have very deep implications, and then you say, I have to pull for a break,
You can hear that, can't you?
pull for a break, and all of a sudden we either get those rolling drums or the hillbilly music. Could we get something? This sounds picayune. I know it's...
He said something to me, Fred. I missed it. What did you say?
It's picayune, my request. But all I was risking...
Picayune.
After I see all these serious things that you bring on the air...
Oh, I know what you mean. In other words, we should have variable music breaks to conform with the tone of the program.
Instead of coming in with a crash bag.
Okay, we'll do that. Do that next year, Freddie, will you?
Definitely.
Okay, give me a count. 5.
4, 3, 2, 1. Break! Break!
That caller had a very good point, and I think we might pick that up. Change the musical breaks to the proper tone for the kind of program we're doing, you know. Good idea. Call on where? Where do you want me to go, Linda? 351. Go ahead, please.
Hello, Jack. Philip and I are having tea with your brother Drew and his OBE. We just saw the first part of your show, which we catch, by the way, just after Coronation Street. And before you leave for your summer halls, we would like to bestow upon you the highest honour awarded the colonies. And so, my messenger, Jono Edwards, will now, on my behalf, present you the Order of the Garter. Is Jono there? Jack?
Where do you want it, Jack?
I'll ring off then. Ta-ra.
Thank you. Thank you, Jono.
We know how jealous you were, Jack, so we thought we'd give you something.
He get the OBE and I get the Order of the Garter. Hey? Terrific, Jono. Jono Mann's camera number 3. It's the smallest camera for the biggest cameraman. That's great. I recognize that voice. Was that lady already on the television this morning?
No, that was the Queen.
Was that lady? That was Lagvy. That was Lagvy. That was a girl, a delightful girl in the cafeteria. I said to her, "How is my East Indian accent?" And she said, "I don't know." She speaks with a beautiful English accent that you can hear. She could pass for Barbara. No. Who's the one that takes off the Queen? Carol Burnett. Carol Burnett. Oh, I'm on the phone. Thanks very much. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Jack.
Morning.
As an old Presbo hooligan refugee from Stornoway on the Isle of Lewis, I am thinking of Jack Wasserman today, who said, Webster will become a success in spite of himself.
Hear, hear.
Because this morning is a morning of levity, there shall be no criticisms other than my saying that you're impossibly good. Now, let me tell you the story about what happened on the golf course the other day that you didn't have the courage to tell your listeners. When you were playing with Brian Budd, your golf was so bad, your language became worse than that of a Liverpool wharf rat. And finally, in utter disgust because Brian Budd was beating you so badly, you refused to go to the clubhouse to luncheon with him. Instead of that, you mixed oatmeal and whiskey in the heel of your shoe. And that is too much. Have a good holiday, Jack, and compliments to your hard-working staff.
Thank you very much. Didn't recognize that voice. That wasn't a planted call. Where am I? Oh, I thought I was going to...
Good morning, Jack.
Go ahead, please.
I just want to tell you I'm going to be sad to miss you for the next couple of months, but you know you could smile every once in a while when somebody gives you a compliment. I'm watching you on TV and you smile maybe once in a while. What I'd like to talk about is I'd like to talk about the past federal election here in Vancouver Centre. I understand that by watching BC TV News last night, the Conservatives are a little upset with the fact that they want a controversial election again. Is that true?
I don't know. You can't know anything until they finish the count today.
Right. What had happened was way we had found out, Art Phillips had lost in the beginning by 2 votes, and then he won by 11 votes. And now I was watching BCTV News last night, and he said that they could possibly have another election because they believe that some people were going in and voting.
No, controverted election. Wait till we get the official recount. No panic in the streets until then. From Malacqua, 13 miles east of Sycamus.
Good morning, Jack. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
That's good. I wanted to thank you for all that you've done. You've brought many pertinent and valuable programs to the public, and you've made us aware of many governmental policies which need to be changed. I've really enjoyed your program, and I really wish you much success next season. And also, I hope to see you on Salt Spring this summer.
Good. Don't forget to speak. Where is Malacqua? How do you spell Malacqua?
Malakwa. Just about 12 miles east of Sycamus.
Sycamus.
Gorgeous country.
Thank you very much, my dear.
Thank you.
Ta-da. Royston on Vancouver Island. Go ahead, please.
Morning, Jack.
Morning.
Hope you have a nice summer. What I'd like to mention is I'm a stamp collector, and I noticed on one part of the show when good Brian Coxford there was interviewing one of the postal workers, the staff in the background were walking over yours and mine and everybody's mail, as they went backwards and forwards. It was laying on the floor. This happens in other post offices with this automation.
Oh, you're talking about the shots he made.
Yeah.
You're not talking about the studio.
No, sorry about that. No, like the mail on the floor in the post office, and a woman walks right over it. If they just bent down each time they went by and picked up a handful, it would be something. And I've noticed this on the newsreels when they...
Okay, let's get the authority on it. Do you know what he's talking about, Brian?
Remember we went to Delta Post Office, and I hate to mention Delta again.
Lad just inside the door.
And they were the voters' lists. Remember the cards that went out, and we went in there and we took some shots, and it was about 24 hours before the deadline, and they hadn't been mailed out, and there was voter cards all over.
All over the floor? On the floor.
Yeah, I don't have a very good recollection of what he's talking about on the floor.
Let's not even nag the post office this morning, but you made your point, sir, and thanks for your good wishes. Do I cut people off too quickly? Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Jack.
Morning.
I have a question that's been bothering me ever since you started. What kind of a shorthand system do you use when you interview your guests? You start off...
John.
Dash right across the paper. Have you got some shorthand code?
Can you get a shot? Can you get a shot?
Oh, fine.
Have you got some kind of shorthand?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if you can see that, can you, John? Look, my name is Jack Webster. I am a very good shorthand writer, and at my peak, I wrote at 200 words per minute. Yeah, focus on that.
I see.
This, can you actually see that, or is it blinded out? You can see it.
I see.
This is a reportorial tool which, unfortunately, due to the invention of these accursed tape recorders, has died.
I see.
I made my name in this town, said he, to be modest as usual, using my incredible shorthand to cover a famous inquiry into police graft, corruption, mismanagement, laxity. And I learned it as a youngster. In fact, when I used to travel back and forward on the bus, in fact, when I used to go to church, I used to go with my little notebook, sit in the front seat of the gallery, and I would take the sermon down in shorthand, and I would read it back later on. And we also used to, because you couldn't get a job as a reporter unless you were a good shorthand writer. How do you know what the man said if you can't write shorthand? Now they can use tape recorders, but in those days we used to read Sherlock Holmes in shorthand.
Oh, I want sort of type of your own, eh?
No, I'm a Pittman shorthand fellow.
Oh, I see. 'Cause once...
Much better than Gregg, much better than speed writing, and in some ways better than a tape recorder.
Sometimes you start with a cross and shoot right across the page and end up with another. It looks like another cross with your big black pen.
No, that's just doodling.
Oh, you're diddling it. Or
Doodling.
Doodling, yeah. Well, all the best for you for your holiday, and we've sure enjoyed your program.
Cheers.
Goodbye.
Bye. In water. To the break. Good morning. In case you've forgotten, my name is Webster, Jack Webster, and I'm the chap that used to be on morning radio, and now I'm on morning television, and I'm going to do my best to keep you interested in my approach to people and news. one's got to have an ego the size of a mountain to do this kind of job.
I know that.
Look what it... We have a thing we do every morning at about 7:30 called the lineup. Some mornings it's easy, some mornings it ain't that easy. And where are we now? We finished the W5 shot of Jack and the Sheep, and that was my son Jack and I at the hockey game. And now we're coming up to, we've done Freddie. What's the next one? It's a it says a free-for-all here. Free-for-all. That means phones. Good morning.
Good morning, Jack.
Morning.
Thank you for keeping it light today.
Oh, yeah.
Before you came on, I was watching Canada AM, and I have a scoop for you on Canada AM.
That'll be a change.
Yes. They had a gentleman on who was talking about Napoleon having been assassinated.
Yes, yes.
He claimed that they had found arsenic in his hair and body.
Right.
This proved that he was murdered. Last year, I was at a meeting, and there was a gentleman there from either University of Washington or Seattle. And what these people had done is they had the military get some water from this well that Napoleon's special water was drawn from. It was apparently very difficult to get because it's such an isolated area. And on testing the water, they discovered that there was naturally arsenic in the water. So the poor man actually committed suicide accidentally by drinking this water.
Funny you should mention that, because I haven't had a chance to do anything on that particular book, which was produced in a very bold manner and very excellent and very well indeed by Mitchell Press in Vancouver. Howard Mitchell. It's a great book, and you're trying to debunk it right off the top.
Well, I was at this meeting last year, and it was really fantastic. This guy got up, and he was...
Listen, you've got to buy the book on the assassination at Elba, assassination at Corfu, assassination of Napoleon. It's a terrific book.
Yes, I'm sure it is, and it was just very interesting that on...
Good. Canada AM had it.
Yeah.
My.
Yeah. So what they need to
It's
do
a good
is
program.
find out that, in fact, the man wasn't murdered. It was accidental.
I'm not so sure.
Well, they proved it.
Not so sure. Anyway, thanks for your call. Go ahead, please.
Yes, congratulations on an excellent season, both you and your staff.
Thank you.
During the election, on several occasions, I heard mention that the Conservatives had actually hired the same group that were responsible for the election of ex-President Nixon in the United States, and they were actually running the Conservative campaign. Of course, I thought it was just a joke or political tricks. But looking in retrospect at the campaign and Mr. Clark's fairly plastic performance, I can almost start to believe it. And coupled with your remark about electing a president, I wondered if there was any truth to that.
Yeah, I believe that to be true. I believe an American agency was used by the Tories, and I'm told it was the same agency, but I haven't got the detail on it. I'm inclined to believe that, and I felt very strongly about the election of a president, and very pleased with the Canadian voter who, no matter how he voted, did not vote to elect the president. Right. That was made perfectly clear that nobody won the battle of electing a president. Sure. And that's the one side. But I don't want to put you down, don't want to put anybody down today, but on May the 22nd, the morning of May the 22nd, in the Globe and Mail by William Johnson, who is quite without doubt the best Federalist French-Canadian reporter in the country, and any serious students of politics should beg, borrow, or steal the Globe and Mail for the 22nd of May and read the interpretation before the voting by Johnson. It's a little bit concerning, but I myself feel that we had to have some kind of jolt to the system to waken people up. However, thanks for your call. Much obliged. Kamloops, is that you, Jenny?
No, it's not, Jack.
Oh, I thought Jenny might have called this morning.
Anyway, thanks for so many good shows.
Thank you.
And while you're on your holidays, come on to Kamloops. Trout are biting real good right now.
As a matter of fact, I will be in Kamloops during my holidays. And as a matter of fact, I'm planning a little trout-biting flip to Kamloops. Do you have to fly in, or can you drive into the good lakes?
Well, you can drive or fly. All the lakes are good right now.
August wouldn't be much good, would it?
Oh, you should better come in the next couple of weeks.
In other words, you got to do it before the end of June.
Yeah, before the end of June.
I've only once been in a lake, and it was way up in the Chilcotins where you could actually sit there and pull them out one after the other.
Well, there's a couple here. You can do it right now.
Don't tell me on the air, though.
No.
Although I presume everybody in Kamloops knows.
Yeah. Listen, one other thing.
Mm.
Politics on the 11 o'clock news the other night. This Claude Bryan fellow from Quebec said that Mr. Clark's going to have to treat them very nicely until he finds out how the things are going. I say to heck with Mr. Ryan. We've had enough of that treating them lightly, and I think it's about time that somebody treated them the way Trudeau's been treating the West for a while and let them see how we've been feeling for the last 10 years.
You certainly sound like somebody from Kamloops, and that's as deep as I'm going to get into that this morning. Anyway, thanks for your call, and I'll see you in that lake high in the mountains. Be eaten alive by mosquitoes, no doubt. Thanks again from Kamloops. And I'm going to take my very first call on Webster, on television, and what'll I do, Fred? Will I just punch the button? Will it work? Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Webster. If you think you're nervous, it's my first call, too.
You're nervous?
Yes, I am.
Why should you be nervous?
I don't know. I'm not used to doing this sort of thing.
Well, I'm not going to be nasty. I'm not going to be the old brusque Webster this morning.
I think it's probably better if you were.
No. I'm a nice old grandfather on occasions, and I'll be that to you. And I'm not going to guess ages, sexes, marital problems, or anything else until I become secure. Go ahead, please. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Doc.
Ma'am, I can't tackle that problem.
Good morning, Doc.
Morning. Don't just give me a general smear. What did he say? Don't say that all reporters are pro-social credit. Somebody phoned up during the break and said, Webster, you're so handsome and good-looking, you remind us of Johnny Carson. You're so different. Where am I? Go ahead, please.
Good morning, beautiful Webster.
Good morning.
You best person of all.
Here.
Honest as God, you shoveling that politician. That's very nice from you. God bless you, give you long life, a healthy life.
That's a kind of call I like. Thank you very much.
I would like to make a comment.
Please do.
Have you changed the format of your program here? I think you must have the Gong Show on this morning.
BCTV ever consider putting your program as an evening program, as I'm sure that you're missing a great audience. I would think your program is one of the best that BCTV has, but the majority of the people are working when your program is on the air.
Well, I would think it is one of the best programs they have too, but we have gone a deliberate and special way with this program. We hope to create 90 minutes of prime time in the morning. After all, no matter how good Webster might be on the odd occasions, do you really think that Webster, apart from looking like Archie Bunker, could beat Archie Bunker's ratings? Do you think that Webster could compete with a Gong Show? Do you think that Webster could beat, for instance, Lavoine and Shirley, or that repulsive thing, Three's Company? Don't be silly. Do you think that Webster can compete with Burt Reynolds naked in a nighttime movie?
Yes, I think
if you're going to
you
see
could,
Webster, the only... I mean, really, get yourself in focus and perspective.
And
furthermore, Webster wants to play golf in the afternoon once he gets settled in. Don't forget, I'm not 21 years of age anymore. I'm getting on to 36.
Oh, okay, sir.
Now, do you understand? Will you pass the word around Cache Creek?
Yes, I will.
We're going to develop a special little portable TV set for cowboys.
Okay.
Right? So they can watch it.
Okay.
While they're rounding up the doggies.
The two. Thanks, Jack.
Thank you.
Excellent program.
Thank you very much indeed. Let me tell you something about this crew. I did the walkabout, and I did the gagging up, the hamming for the beginning of the show. I have no idea what else they've been putting on this morning, and some of it has been absolutely terrific. Joanne, where are you, Joanne? Come, where's my coffee? Where's my cup? Here's my cup. There's the camera.
Hello.
Who are you, Joanne?
I'm Joanne. I'm your makeup girl and your coffee girl.
That's right. And how long does it take you to make up my rather large face in the morning?
I have only one complaint. He does use a lot of makeup. He does, to contour the whole bit. Right
And Joanna, you do make very good coffee.
Thank you. I'll give you some more.
Give me some more.
It's hot this time, too.
Thanks very much, Joanne, for all your work this year. That's Joanne, the makeup girl. Delightful girl. Telephones. Penticton.
Hello.
Yes, yes. Good morning.
Congratulations, Mr. Webster. I enjoy your show very, very
Oh, by the way, where are you speaking from?
I'm speaking from Gibson's Landing.
Oh, you're Gibson's Landing?
Yeah.
Penticton's next. Well, carry on, my dear.
I'm very glad you're coming back in September because I enjoy watching your show very much. But I do have a problem myself. It's to do with unemployment insurance.
Oh, please, not this morning. But we can probably give you a number. Can we still give them a number, Linda? Linda, I'll give you a number to call them on, my dear.
Okay, thank you very much.
Because I'm going to have a couple of months off. Well-deserved, I might say. Thanks. Hold on, and Linda will talk to you in a minute. Penticton.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Webster.
Morning, madam.
I tell you, sir, you are a marvelous person. You dig into bureaucracy where nobody can reach, and I know it from experience. And I commend you on it because we certainly need people like you. I did write you and registered a letter to you about a son, but we just got no response, and I wondered...
About a which?
Pardon me?
About what?
About our son, and a...
Was that the boy? Oh, maybe you don't want to tell me. I think I remember the letter.
Well, no, I don't mind telling you because, believe me...
What was it? What was the problem?
Okay, well, it's the problem of 8 years, and every time we go to anybody, they say, how come this problem has lasted 8 years? And we tell them, well, it's bureaucracy. We can't get anywhere, and we just cannot. We can't. And they have literally destroyed the boy. He's got a chance if he got the chance.
Was it about schooling?
That's right. And then, of course...
I remember the letter, and I think we were planning to do something, but we became overwhelmed with the elections. Who knows, I might be able to do something in the fall about it.
Well, I don't...
Or maybe it's too late.
I don't know if we could last that long because it's literally destroyed my husband and me in our health. It's affected our children. It's practically, well, you can almost say it's destroyed a family. We had tried for 8 years, as I said to you, but we needed help so urgently. But anyway, I hope that you continue to do something for people who are caught in this situation because the only person that did do anything that was reasonably close to help was Mr. Barrett, and he lost the election shortly after that, and the last 4 years have been hell-bent, and you have no idea what hell-bent life can be until you live in a system.
Oh, yes, I do. Now, do write me in September, if only for my information. My conscience troubles me on a number of appeals for help. Sometimes we try to make a phone call even if we don't do a program on it. But the massive, complex, as you say, bureaucracy and detail that's involved, you know, we do our best, but we don't do everything.
I know you do your best, and I know there was a lot of people who said, well, if anybody can do something for you, Webster will. And you know, Mr. Webster, I don't care if I'm in British Columbia or if I'm elsewhere, because I think we're going to have to go elsewhere. There is no place for this child in B.C. There's all kinds of help in Saskatchewan. And if we're there, I don't care if we're in Saskatchewan, but I would really appreciate that you did a documentary on him, regardless of where we are, because I'll tell you something. Persons that do this to other people should be prosecuted. They really should.
My dear, I must leave it there this morning. Do drop me a note for September, and maybe when Brian's up there, he can come and see you.
And I thank you ever so much, Mr. Webster. Please stay on. Please keep up the good work. You are one ray of hope for people in disastrous.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Okay.
Wait, am I going to break now? Yes, I'm going to break. Thanks very much. I must go to break now. Serious break. Is Doug Sykes on the set this morning, Fred? Where's Doug Sykes? Come on over, Doug. Where's... And what about Chris? Chris Turner? Chris Turner. Come on over, Doug. Don't be shy. Where's his microphone, Fred? Have we lost his microphone? Put him in there.
Sit down in the chair there. Put the microphone on you.
Just hold it up. Good. Chris, this is Doug Sykes. Do you see him? Wait till he gets in. Doug Sykes of BC Tel. He's the guy who's carried the heat and burden of the day for me and never let me down once. I just wanted to say thank you very much.
You're welcome, Jack.
Right,
It's a
hold
pleasure.
that closer to your mouth. You can use a telephone, but you're not that good with a microphone.
Well, it's a little different, isn't it?
Doug, I wanted just to call you in this morning and say thanks to you and the BC Tel. it has not been easy for you.
Well, it's a little different. A lot of fun. Thank
Very
you, Jack.
grateful. Microphone. What's your name?
Chris Turner.
Microphone closer. Isn't it great? I can boss them about now. This is the guy. I go in and I say, look, I want this done quick and dirty. You know, I want 6.5 minutes. And Chris says, now, just a minute. Don't you?
Yeah.
He says, no, it's going to be edited this way. And I say, no, it's not. And it finishes up being edited Chris Turner's way. Chris Turner and Jack Hilton are two of the expert editors, and there are other expert editors too. You did an incredible job on these bumpers this morning.
Oh, thanks, Jack. We got a great talent to work with.
Yeah. Thanks very much, Chris. Just wanted to say thanks, gentlemen. Thanks, gentlemen. Now, I have another... I'll tell you what I'll do right now. How long will it take to queue up Barbara Green Road? Let Barbara Green Road go. This is a bonus from the old days you're going to get for nothing on BCTV. It's sound only. Telephone call.
Go ahead, please.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Is this Mr. Webster?
Yes, madam.
I was told that you might help me find an address of the... I think you were interviewing Mr. Charlie Hunter, were you not? The editor of Longman's Publishing Company?
I am at this very moment, Mr. Curly Hunter.
Oh, Curly Hunter.
I call him Curly because he's as bald as a coot.
Oh, a friend of mine told me. Oh, that's funny.
Well, aren't you listening to the radio, ma'am?
I want to know where...
Aren't you listening to the radio?
Yes. Yes.
You are you?
Yes. Well, my friend told me to call you. I wanted to get this number of Charlie Hunter.
Curly Hunter, ma'am.
Oh.
He's as bald as a coot. 55 Barber Green Road. Funny enough, Barber Green Road. He hasn't been in a barber's in years. 55 Barber Green Road, Don Mills, Ontario.
That's the address?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you spell that?
Barber, as in hairdresser.
Oh, barber?
Yes, barber. I can't say it the way you do, ma'am.
Oh.
My glottal stops are too prominent.
Oh. Barber?
Barber Green Road.
How do you spell that? Green?
Yes, as in pink. Green.
G-R-W-N?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that the road?
That's the road.
That's the address?
Yes, madam.
What a strange address.
Isn't it?
Yes.
He's a strange man.
And what is Barber?
That's the name of the road.
Oh, Barber Green Road?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's the road. Oh,
yes, of course it is.
Oh, what a long name.
Yes, isn't it?
And he's bald.
Oh, bald as a coot.
Tell me one. Tell me again. How do you spell that name?
Charlie Hunter, Barber Green Road, Don Mills, Ontario.
Ontario?
Don Mills.
What's Art Mills?
Dawn. You know when the sun comes up like thunder?
Sure, that's my name.
That's Dawn. What, son of thunder?
Dawn is my name.
Dawn. Well, D-O-N, as in Don Juan. Don Juan. Don Juan.
Juan?
Dawn Mills.
Mills?
M-I-L-L-S, as in flower.
Yes, Don Mills. Is that his name?
No, that's the name of the house.
What? What? Oh, I'm awfully muddled, aren't I?
You're delightful. You and I must do a comedy act on the stage sometime.
Yes, I have done that sometime.
Just wanted to let you hear that. It's years since Linda and I have had it. Very funny indeed. We'll take a break now. Still laughing. What's for Monday?
I'd rather not say. I'm going to be at home Monday.
Holidays Monday. 3 months, more or less. Where's Suzanne?
Well, I was just going to say there's someone missing from this program today.
There certainly
has not
is.
been on camera, and I think she should come and join us right now.
So do I. Here. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Suzanne Boyce, the producer of The Webster Show. Thank you very much for everything. This, of course, is Linda Datka, associate producer. And I'm Old Man Webster, and I take the fancy title for reasons of nonsense, executive producer. It's been a terrific year.
Oh, it has been.
And I want to say to the listeners who brought us the fantastic ratings of 146,000 people at 9 o'clock in the morning, never before done, I don't think, anywhere in Canada, and to Suzanne and Linda and Michelle Berlin, whom you haven't seen, you just saw her from the back, you should have seen her, and Bob Wilson, the director, and Henry Ozawa before him, and who? Brian, of course. Brian got his fair lumps this morning anyway. And a thank to you especially. And we shall be back, solid, complete, and full of vim, vigor, and vitality at 9 a.m. precisely on September the 10th, 1979. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Jack Webster, I've been presented with a considerable body of evidence, not only from the staff of BCTV, whom you've been kicking around somewhat, but also from a large number of other citizens. And all of them, I can tell you, have concluded one thing, that you are or have developed a Napoleonic complex, and that's serious. It must be because throughout all these elections and for all the years, you have had prime ministers, potential prime ministers, and would-be prime ministers summons to your show, coming cap in hand and deferring to you in the most incredible manner. And it's a short step from that, and you've already demonstrated it, for you to believe that you're Emperor Webster the First of Canada. You've already said a dozen times on the air that all these gentlemen are imposters aspiring to an imperial presidency, even though they deny it resolutely. Well, the last thing that Canada needs at this stage in its history is a demented Emperor Webster I going around Canada in a crazy cocked hat sidewise on his head, a pair of kilts, bumming cigarettes off heads of foreign states. That's the last thing we need. And I guess it's up to me, somewhat on behalf of the community, not to order you exactly, but to give you a strong direction to leave the cameras forthwith and to leave Vancouver forthwith and depart for your island of Elba, otherwise known as Salt Spring, and there to stay until at least September the 10th, if you like, till 9 a.m. precisely.
Duddly, 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 duddly.